Coming up this week, off-screen.
First Love gets deadly with Beast.
A rite of passage opens the wound.
There's an explosive tale with not the D sharp, but the D minor.
And the Avengers fight the Infinity War.
All those to come and more off-screen.
This is Off-Screen. 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 With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off-Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off-Screen. I'm Van Connor.
And I am Kase Allen.
Welcome back, Mr. Allen. We've had a week apart.
We have, yeah.
Apologies for that.
Why was
Do you know, I can't even remember. I think it was something to do with my schedule and seeing some film or other, but yeah.
Yeah, mistakes were made. Things were said.
Well, we need to get to some film news. We need to get to some reviews, box office top 5, competitions. So much fun to be had, as always. And there's a kind of a fun movie out this week as well. And there's one that's
the D minor.
The D minor, yeah. Well, that's more tragic fun. And then you've got Beast, which is dark, horrific fun.
Right.
And then you've got The Wound, which is insightful, gay fun. And then you've got...
and all things combined.
And it all combines to form Avengers Infinity War, which is,
Which, spoiler, the D minor, not the big bad.
Not the big bad, no.
Shame. Maybe he's in Avengers 4.
Possibly,
I'd see the D minor in that.
But before we get to all that stuff, we've got to kick off with some film news.
All right, yeah.
Because there's always something going on. What you got for me? What has happened this week that's worth our time and effort?
Well, as we were just talking about prior to recording, CinemaCon is happening right now.
It is. Just
in
explain.
the United States.
Can you explain for me? CinemaCon is not something like Comic-Con for the general public, is it?
No, it's something for like theatre owners and distributors go to it.
It's a trade show.
It's a trade show, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, they just go and they dig out the Quentin Tarantinos and the Jamie Lee Curtis's, and they're just like, this is what we got.
Yeah, this is all the things we're going to dazzle you with in the next 2 years.
That's it, yeah. So I think for some film news today, we'll pretty much be delving into what's been said. There's been some cool stuff.
Is D23 a trade show or a convention?
I think that's a weird one. I think that is kind of a mixture of both.
Okay, right, because I wasn't clear on that one.
Yeah, because it kind of works as Disney's own version of Comic-Con.
Kind of does, doesn't it?
Sometimes when Marvel skip out on Hall H at Comic-Con, which is what's happening this year.
Yeah, they double down at D23, don't they?
And then they're just like, here are all our films.
Not that far apart.
I don't think so, no. But we'll probably get into that some point later on down the year. But this year, first bit of news from that. Summer's coming up. And in the summer, kids don't go to school, all that jazz. But we
they lose the motivation, don't they?
We're just like, I just want to stay and eat cake. I don't want to.
Can I just do this for 6 weeks? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, as a teacher, that's what I feel like as well. So we have loads of like cartoon films and kids films. We do. There was a film called The Secret Life of Pets, that came out a couple of years ago.
Yes, and I have a logistical question about how you continue that series because noticeably it's been avoided.
And my answer to that question is you get the person that seems to be in every animated property ever to replace the issue.
Okay.
So, the sequel to Secret Life of Pets comes out, what is it? It's later on this summer.
Is it this summer? It can't be.
Oh, no, my apologies, it's next summer, but they've announced it. That would have been...
I was about to say, that's the quickest turnaround I've ever heard of on a CG animated film, because they're always like 3 years. This is terrible
planning on my part, whatever.
It's fine. So,
it was announced the other day.
Who do we get to replace the problem?
Yes.
Christopher Plummer, isn't it? Have they got Christopher Plummer to replace Louis C.K.?
That's who you get. Whenever there's a scandal, you put in Georg.
So when the Entourage movie gets a sequel, Christopher Plummer's there playing Ari Gold. That's how it works.
Oh man, I would watch that. I would watch that so hard.
It's actually worth them making an Entourage sequel purely for that, isn't it?
For that, yeah. It's just like Ari Gold's like rich, eccentric Canadian uncle or something.
Just get him to play Ari Gold and not mention it.
Ari Old.
Yeah, Ari Old. There we are.
You get Patton Oswalt.
Wow.
Yes, Patton Oswalt is literally just going to be the same character.
He's going to play Max, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Max the dog. And then we got some new people as well. New people, Tiffany Haddish, because
movie in
she's a
2018.
big star now, yeah. Oh, 2019.
Well, 2019.
Nick Kroll, Pete Holmes, who I like very much. The show Crashing on HBO.
Yes, I've never had the chance to get into that.
It's good, man. It's definitely worth watching, man. A bunch of people that are returning: Jenny Slate, Eric Stonestreet, Ellie Kemper, Lake Bell, Bobby Moynihan.
Excellent. Hannibal Buress, is he back?
Hannibal Buress is back, and then someone else new, newcomer, Harrison Ford.
Oh, it must be an up and comer. I've not heard of this person.
I hope that he gets a franchise.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be good in a sort of legacy series, something that he could star in a few films of and like really make his own and dine out on for a while. If he did a few of those, actually,
I think it'd be all right.
That's a career, right there.
Absolutely. I mean, it can take 30, 40 years off. Come back as the same character. Phone it in, mumble.
He can marry Supergirl's boss. You know, the whole thing. The world is full of possibilities for an actor with his whole future ahead of him. So young, starting out.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I am a little bit behind on Supergirl. Supergirl's boss. Oh, yeah.
Supergirl's boss at the beginning of that series is Ally McBeal, Calista Flockhart.
Yeah. And I think, of course it is, yeah.
When they moved the show...
I thought you were talking about Karen Allen from Indiana Jones. So I was like, Karen Allen isn't Supergirl. What?
No, that show moved from LA to Vancouver to join Arrow and Flash, and Calista Flockhart, for the second series, when they'd moved, reduced her role to recurring.
Oh, okay.
And what they did was they basically wrote it so that Jimmy Olsen's Supergirl's boss now.
Oh, that makes sense.
And now I think it might be...
Isn't it James Olsen? Because he's...
James Olsen.
Because he's cool.
Yeah, and then there's Katie McGrath's Lady Luthor as well, who's now the boss of them all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Lena Luthor, there we are.
Lena Luthor.
Because if you want a millennial name, Lena's a good one.
You talk to girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to Lena.
So, should we do... let's do a quick plug for podcast editions. You can get extra stuff after the end credits and the moment of cage.
All the stuff.
All the news and reviews we can't fit into the radio edit. Go on to iTunes, go on Deezer, go on Acast, go on any podcast platform you like. Odds are Offscreen is on there. Download, consume, enjoy in that very threateningly John Carpenter kind of a way.
News on John Carpenter later as well.
We have, haven't we?
What a segue.
I know. Also competitions. We're giving away DVDs of Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story, which is really good.
Yeah, I remember
really fascinating documentary. And so go along to onscreenfilm.com, go on the competition section and win Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story on DVD. It is worth watching. It is a great story. If you don't know the story of Hedy Lamarr, absolutely you need to see this film. It's really just crazy cool story.
So what are we going to talk about? What film shall we
I think The Deminer. Do you want The Deminer?
The Deminer.
Right.
The Deminer.
Last week,
Deminer.
That's it. Last week, I said The Deminer because I'd not looked the film up. Yeah. And I was like, we've got The Deminer coming up. Don't know, some kind of documentary. And I just assumed it was like a Phantom Thread style documentary. A Deminer sounds like a seamstress, something a seamstress would
does, yeah. What is your occupation? I'm
a Deminer.
I'm a Deminer.
I'm a Deminer, yeah. I'm a cobbler. I'm a Deminer. Yeah. Well, no, it's the D-Minor, and it is the story. In fact, it's basically a biographical documentary. It's been reconstructed by the son of a Kurdish colonel. I'm trying to find his name here.
Is it Colonel Kurtz?
It's not. He's basically he is an Iraqi colonel. He's a Kurd serving in the Iraqi army. And after the invasion, he very quickly realizes that there's all these primitive landmines throughout the country that are just claiming lives left, right, and center. And he discovers through his working with Allied forces, working with the Americans, etc., and the French, how easy it is to defuse one of these mines. How you risk your life, but it can be quite straightforward, and you can do it. It's just a question of whether or not you want to risk your own existence. He then rationalizes it as every time he risks his life, that's one life he's potentially saving. And he dedicates his time to simply going out with a pair of pliers. He literally goes out into the world with a pair of pliers and sets about demining Iraq.
I have just seen a picture of this guy. He looks very casual. Like he's he is sat aside
pile of mines,
pile of diffused mines, cigarette in hand. Not giving AF.
Not giving AF? No,
I believe that's what the kids are saying.
I can't remember this. Sorry, it's not on the IMDb page at all, and I've not brought the press notes with me. It is actually a Swedish documentary. It's brought to us by Igor Hirori. But because obviously it's set in Iraq, its subject is Iraqi, a lot of it is in the regional dialect of Arabic, because you can't just say Arabic, it's a specific dialect of Arabic. And So the fact that it's a Swedish film, you don't really particularly notice.
The filmmaker's from Kurdistan.
Is he from Kurdistan?
Yeah.
But I think because the film's actually listed as Swedish, like on the press notes, they do make a big
It's got a Swedish
production, I presume. It's genuinely gripping as a film because he himself, I really apologise, I can't remember the gentleman's name. He himself is actually kind of captivating in a strange way. Like you said about him sitting casually amongst that pile of mine smoking a cigarette, he is that kind of guy. And although he has this very preachy, I'm doing this for the people, I'm here to save lives sort of a message, he's not really particularly po-faced about it. He kind of gets the insanity of it. He gets how bonkers what he is, and the film has a really effective way of portraying that through the way that they utilize interview footage with his son, the way the clips they specifically utilize of him. It paints a very particular portrait of the man, and it gives it a tone you wouldn't quite expect. I was really taken in by it. I just thought the story was just fascinating. I can't believe this guy existed. I never heard this story. Absolutely worth checking out. It's a Dogwoof release, so it'll go pretty wide on the documentary circuit. So, for instance, in Sheffield, it'll be Curzon or Showroom. If you can get the chance to see this, absolutely do. It is so worth seeing.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, where are we going to go next? What are we going to talk about next? There's got to be something.
There's always something in there. Let's talk about The Wound, which is a film which I believe is about axe makers, axe welders. I think.
I'll tell you something. You type "wound" into IMDb, and you see how many films that brings up.
I just realised the double entendre that I made, and I didn't mean to make it.
What did you do? Oh man, it's not registered. It's flown right over my head. What did you do?
I said axe. This film was called The Wound.
Yes, I got that.
Yeah, but I didn't even mean to.
Oh right, so I assumed that was the point of that. Sorry. Okay, so. We're just not on game, are we? Okay, so this is otherwise known as Nziba. This is about a rite of passage. This is a tribal rite of passage film. Which nation is it actually from origin? Let me see if I can find out on here. Country. It doesn't actually say on there, does it? Country, South Africa. Right. So this follows a young boy named Zolani. He's kind of at the upper echelon of the teenage spectrum. He's regarded as sort of senior status among teenagers. He's a factory worker who goes off on a rite of passage journey, but where the boys ascend from their teen years to men. It's not a documentary. It's a fictional narrative, but the way this plays is Brokeback Mountain. This is literally Brokeback Mountain in a tribal setting. So the reason he's gone back, he's gone through this rite of passage himself, the reason he's gone back in this sort of senior supervisory mentor-like role is because he and a friend he made on their rite of passage many years earlier became a couple. Discreetly behind closed doors because they're outdoors nearly the entire time. But yeah, discreetly while they're on this journey and rite of passage into the woods, into the forest, and into the wilderness. That's what they've been doing, and they've been going back every year since. Kind of like Brokeback Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, exactly. You get the comparison point. Yeah. It's just tribalism instead of cowboyism. And cowboyism? It's got to be a word. Irregardless.
It's a perfectly cromulent word.
Perfectly cromulent, totally. It embiggens everything. Anyway, it totally embiggens my point. God, Trump. Anyway, sorry. So the way we have this now is he's gone back. He's very much in the senior status of the role. There is a young recruit who's going through this process for the first time, and the pair begin a relationship which causes friction with his frequent partner and basically creates a love triangle in the middle of this rite of passage in a culture in which it really isn't tolerated, full stop. And, well, we haven't got a clip because it is all in regional dialect. And it's great. It is absolutely terrific.
Sounds interesting.
And I just came away thinking, it is Brokeback Mountain, but it's different. It's not like a rip-off or anything. It's different enough. I kind of like the idea that that kind of story transplants it into so many different settings. And it does it brilliantly here. It is superbly directed by John Trengrove. It is just fantastically shot. It's got a really chilly atmosphere to it, but there is warmth in the character interplay. The way that it balances its sort of sense of self-loathing with its sense of fear is really, really precise. And the way that Zolani and his kind of ex-partner really basically square off constantly, it does give you chills at times. It's a really gripping film. Can't recommend it highly enough. And like I say, if you liked Brokeback Mountain and you always want to see, I want to see the foreign language tribal version. Because
that's the one thing I was thinking of.
I say that all the time. I'm often watching. I was watching The Sweetest Thing the other day, and I said I want to see the foreign language tribal version of this.
Somebody get me Ang Lee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Don't make me Ang Lee. You wouldn't like me when I'm Ang Lee.
Oh, what a week for that gag! By the way, did you see the Incredible Hulk finally got an honest trailer?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that. So, shall we move on? Have you got a piece of film news before we go to the box office top 5? Anything you want to talk about this week?
No, I'm good.
You good?
No,
okay.
I mean, I have, but I'm going to save it because, anticipation and all that jazz.
Fair enough. On which note?
Number 5.
Hashtag not my Peter Rabbit.
Well, not my Peter Rabbit either. It's doing alarmingly well, though. And the fact that it's doing this well in Britain, where we should know better.
I've said this before, Van. Children are idiots.
You're actually expecting your first child as you say that. You realise that, right?
I know, and I intend to call it an idiot every day. I'm going to give it a complex.
I maintain if you have a son and don't name him Barry Allen,
I'm missing something. It's at least got to be middle.
You're not even trying if you don't.
I have been trying. You try to convince my wife to call my kid after The Flash.
There we are. Yeah. But Peter Rabbit, it because it's just not the product it should be. It's an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie set in Richard Curtis land.
No.
It's not a Beatrix Potter movie.
I think what we want something that the Christopher Robin film looks like it's going to be.
Something like that tone, yes. Yeah. This is frankly too crass, too juvenile, too silly for what it needs to be. It has no sense of self-importance, which Beatrix Potter's work does kind of have.
Yeah, I don't want to hear like bloody Jemima Puddle Duck farting.
Yeah,
I can imagine that being in this film.
It is that kind of film where it will resort to fart humour, and you just think it's not particularly funny about it. It's very basically written. It is shot in a way that feels like it's come off a standard assembly line. And I saw a film this week that I'm embargoed on for a month, and
can you tell me off mic?
I can tell you off mic.
Yes.
I promise you, exciting. It's hilarious. But I watched it, and I watched that film and thought to myself, you know what? This is awful, but it's still light years ahead of Peter Rabbit, and that's because it is on the low bar. This is Marmaduke level CG hybrid animated family film, and that is very, very sad. Has someone tweeted on it for me?
Yes, at Sherlock's Holmes.
Okay,
nice. It says someone I know in IRL, in real life.
In real life, yeah.
But they've put in real life. Come on, Sherlock Holmes. Posted on their Insta story.
Insta story?
Have I got to read this?
Yes, you've got to read this.
On their Insta story that they're watching Peter Rabbit, IDK. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard. No capital letters. No like discernible punctuation.
Maybe he was in a rush.
No full stop.
He was in a rush.
In a rush tells me about
he was in a rush.
Story.
That is important information he had to get out to the world, okay?
I don't even know if they enjoyed the film or not.
Indulged it. Maybe his house was on fire. Maybe his house was on fire and he thought that's the last thing I'm going to contribute to the world. Do you know what? Ours is not to judge.
Number 4.
That big CGI nostalgia fest. 3000.
Ready Player One,
yeah.
Which I was a big fan of, to be honest. Way more than I expected to be.
I'm not, but it's all right. I like it.
That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to stand up to scrutiny.
You've seen it a couple of times, haven't you?
I did, yes.
So I think that's maybe why you enjoy it more than me.
Quite possibly. I did have to. That second time, I made sure to see it because I really wanted to see it without the dizzying wow factor of, oh look, Firefly, oh look, Godzilla, oh look. I needed to get rid of the oh look factor and actually focus on it
that's what I've got
as a film.
unfortunately.
So yeah, I would recommend seeing it a second time if you can, and get through that. But I do think it's a pretty solid film. I think it's built upon something of a shaky base because of the nostalgia element, because of how it leans into its retro vintage aesthetic. But it's not quite the nauseating hipster fest you think it's going to be, which pleases me greatly. And it's got, relatively sterling Spielberg work in there. That's why you're the original. Okay. That's why you basically invented the blockbuster. Cool.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to not be self-referential, but it's also something that he helped create, so it's difficult
It is strange, isn't it?
fully avoid that, I guess.
Did you find yourself wondering, like, why don't you just chuck in a couple more of your own films? You can totally pull this off.
We were saying this, but his crew, or like the post-production people, were trying to just sneak in some ET Easter eggs. And
I mean, we were assuming that like there's a T-Rex in it. We assume that's the Jurassic Park T-Rex, for instance. He does actually have the scars on the neck. So
yeah,
I think that he is meant to be the Jurassic Park one. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a great time with the casting of it. I thought the writing was quite witty, quite funny. There's, I have issues with the way they've structured the plot because I've not read the book, by the way. I've issues with the way they've structured the plot because there's a very, very obvious and glaring missed opportunity in there. And other than that,
there was one bit that I know they've changed from a book, and I too have not read the book.
Was that by any chance clue number 2?
Clue number two. Which is, by and large, my favourite part of the film. That bit was great.
Same. Yeah. Jaw-dropping.
And the look of it is...
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Has anyone tweeted on it? Have we got a fan? Have we got a hater? What have we got?
Let's find out. At Andrew M. Elijah says, #Ready Player One is basically Spielberg being our dad and telling us to get off our couch and go play with our friends for a while.
Number 3.
Guernsey.
We're just going with Guernsey, aren't we? So it's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society.
I was off last week, and
you were when we reviewed it.
And also, I'm not used to just calling it just Guernsey.
Just because obviously we haven't talked about Guernsey, it is just to be referred to as Guernsey. Okay, really? That's just what we're going to do. They've gone with the Twitter account name Guernsey Movie because they clearly know as well. I think we went with GL P. I think we sat with last week.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, is it GL P? We're going to forget the S. GL P because it sounds like something Diddy would say. So.
And Diddy has just bought that house on Guernsey, hasn't he? His new summer home.
Yeah, must be a tax haven or something. Who knows? The film itself, it's one of those films of two halves where you've got the sort of the pot boiling romance element.
Is Sam Claflin in it?
Sam Claflin? No, it feels like something he should be in, doesn't it?
Be in it.
Yeah, it's totally that film, is it? Like, where's Sam Claflin? Come on, let's find him.
Where are you?
No, he's not in it. It's Michael Huisman.
Oh, Dario Naharis from Game of Thrones.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, I miss you on your weeks off. Colson don't know his obscure European casting.
You can pronounce all the really hard to pronounce names from Game of Thrones.
But yeah, Colson and I have fun doing this, but his knowledge of European actors is understandably rather thin, because why wouldn't it be? He's a person. Anyway, is your Michael Huisman, and you've also got Glenn Powell as the...
really?
I knew that'd get your jaw dropping. Yep. And get this.
That would actually make me go see the film.
Right, he's got a meaty role in it. He plays it great, effortlessly cool. Yeah.
I would go see it just for him.
You know what? He's great in it. Go and see it. He's part of the pot-boiling romance element, right? Which works.
Does he play an American?
He does. He really... It's like... Have you read the book, Mr. Allen? Is that what it is?
What is a book? Can I download it?
There's a pot-boiling romance, that works. The investigative, journalistic side of it, less so. Having said that, it's kind of middle of the road about it. I think he's going to find an audience amongst, to be honest, my mum. It's what I thought my mum will love.
Mums.
It's a mum movie. Yeah. The DVD will be out for Mother's Day, and we can sell it. But, has anyone tweeted on it? What they got for us?
At eHarvey98 says, just seen #Guernsey movie, or... GL y'all. And I absolutely loved it. Wonderful and whimsical, gorgeous story, and now I want to visit Guernsey.
Well, that's an achievement, to be fair.
Number 2.
Which I loved. I think you loved as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Have you heard the news about this that came out today?
No, I have not. What is it? They're making a sequel, obviously.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake.
I don't know
how,
and I don't know. I didn't even click on the article. I just saw the headline and was just like,
Please don't. Although
Michael Bay's produced it.
To be fair, A Quiet Place could work if you go down the Purge route of
you would just expand it, yeah.
Fine, but it has to be in another part of the country or something like that, and with a different, a completely unconnected story. Just tell an anthology story. Just use it for that.
But then I think the worry with that would be you would find out too much about the characters. Not the characters, about the creatures.
About the threat,
and I don't want to know more about them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's down to how good the writing's going to be, to be honest.
I just need to know that they can't see.
Well, exactly that, isn't it?
Yeah. Just have a mystery about them.
I do think the film's great, though. I think Krasinski and Blunt, I think, is terrific.
Yeah, I've started watching The Office for the first time.
Have you never watched The Office?
I've never watched the US. Obviously, I've seen the... I know. It's
you.
I know.
You.
Me.
You.
I am like baffled. It's been my one gap in like US comedy knowledge
for
a long time.
Finding out there's not a Santa.
It's mad, isn't it?
Just... Wow.
Because, like, obviously, always been aware of it. Love the shows, but Michael Schur and Greg Daniels.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, love Parks and Rec, love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, love Good Place.
But you never seen The Office?
No.
I'm mind blown.
But yeah, I've always just been, like, aware of Michael Scott, always been aware of Dwight.
Because you're in that sphere of, you love that sphere of comedy anyway, and that's such an integral part of it now.
And so why I've not just, like, I think it's because... Like, I didn't start watching, obviously, when it was on, and then it finished, and it was 9 seasons, and I was like, 9 seasons is a lot of show.
You've inspired me, though. I'm going to give it a rewatch.
Do it.
So we can trade games.
I started last week. I'm halfway through season 3.
Cool.
It's such an easy watch.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But Krasinski in that Jim. Oh man,
I know. And who'd have thought with Quiet Place that he'd turn out to be as effective a director as he is as well? I mean, he's. Did you know that he actually shot the opening credit sequence, the opening credit footage for The Office?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually, he filmed that on his way into Scranton for the first time. He just took his camera out and shot the town, and that's what they use as the opening sequence of The Office.
Fantastic.
But yeah, so Quiet Place, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I loved the tweet we got last week that said how many people died in A Quiet Place because they accidentally farted. Yeah, and many people have asked similar questions. I think John Nottingham asked me, do they have to go behind the waterfall every time they want to fart? Yeah. So has someone tweeted another interesting question or an observation? What have they got for us?
Alice Guest says, went to see #Quiet Place, and then there's some kind of emoji. Oh, it's the silence.
Okay.
Smart. So we should have. So good. But to the people eating popcorn, shh.
Number 1.
Rampage.
Right. Did you know Rampage had a theme song?
Not until that played.
Not until that played. Right.
I was the one person in that bloody theatre that, like, when I heard like the opening chords of that, I was like, oh, someone has sampled Smash Pumpkins.
Yeah, they have. Kid Cudi has.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's called The Rage, the song.
The Rage.
And basically it is a hip-hop track that has sampled Butterfly Wings.
So it's Rampage, but we've just taken out certain letters.
Yeah. It really is. It's half a Rampage. It's a Rage.
Do you think someone like bought him Scrabble? Or like there's like Scrabble fridge magnets?
Well,
just, and he was just like...
Consider for a second, Dwayne Johnson has to have signed off on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which... Can you imagine?
I want to be in a room with Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins and Dwayne Johnson. And they're comparing, like, their bald heads. But, like, I use this head wax.
Well, that's true. But just remember, 2 Chainz and Wiz Khalifa collaborated on the theme song to Fast and Furious 6.
That we did.
Which means at some point in human history, there has been a room in the world that contained both Wiz Khalifa and 2 Chainz. And nobody thought to install cameras and sell tickets to watch this. Because how's that not on the DVD? I'd pay good money to see Wiz Khalifa and 2 Chainz just hanging out in a room for half an hour.
Talk to Vin. Vin will probably just like... If
he's too busy buying white clothes. Why does he wear all white?
I ain't got white clothes. I got a family.
Like a family. It's so I can show myself off as the saintly protector of my family.
I watched that video the other day. Do you remember a couple of years ago on Valentine's Day, he put up a video of him singing a Rihanna song?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It was like 5 years ago or something, 4 or 5 years ago, and it's badly shot. It's on an iPhone.
Yep.
And there's a projector. He's like singing next to like a projected image of a Rihanna video, and he's like duetting with this Rihanna video.
Oh my God.
It's great.
So Rampage, I realise we've just gone completely off topic and just gone into
This is the Vinder's Crazy Things.
We've somehow diverted into dissecting the life of Vin Diesel.
We've spoken about that.
We are defective as people.
Oh my god, have we just chosen Vin over
We
Dwayne?
did. We sided with Vin over Dwayne. So back to Dwayne. Wow, we are bad people. Sorry, Dwayne. Please don't hate on us.
Have you seen that he's just had a kid?
Yes, he has. Yeah. And the size of a human baby next to Dwayne Johnson is hilarious.
It's called it The Pebble.
Yep, there we are. I think that's the working title they have for every baby's name until he picks. It's like Pebble. Rampage, I had great fun with. OTT action spectacular. Dwayne Johnson tapping into that sort of that recipe he's managed to perfect that Arnold Schwarzenegger arguably started in the early 90s and then sort of fizzled out on. Dwayne Johnson seems to have basically found a way to bottle that and reuse it, and that's fantastic to me. Doing. That's great. I had such a good time with this. A little bit too cartoonish a pair of villains, but you know what? Jeffrey Dean Morgan basically owning the show, strutting around. Yeah.
You want to say about those old cowboys?
Exactly. Yeah. He's so badass.
Well, I think I text you saying I need Jeffrey Dean Morgan to be in the Fast and Furious spin-off.
That would be great.
That.
He would fit that universe as well.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good villain, though.
He'd be a great villain.
Yeah. So, has anyone tweeted on Rampage?
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Not that Kevin Smith.
Another Kevin Smith that has the fantastically amazing handle of Cookie Prince 52.
Nice. You're nice.
He was 52nd in the line of Cookie Prince Succession.
Look, there's a lot. Look, Prince George will tell you, line of Succession's a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's just, the competition's just getting worse.
Yeah.
So, Cookie Princes, I'd imagine it's like being an actual prince.
There's Cookie Monster. Right, he says, I saw the movie Rampage with my mom. This is an American man. Mom, aunt, and 2 cousins earlier today. I enjoyed it, and I think that those that like giant monsters, action, and/or mindless fun will enjoy it too. This is very well written.
It is.
This is the perfect antidote for that previous.
It really is. It's like counterpoint.
Yeah. I also give the movie props for having a Rampage arcade machine in a few shots, as do I. That was very fun. Well done, Rock.
It was a nice touch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back and we're assembled, Mr. Allen. So it's time.
Is it really time?
It's really time. It's finally happened. An entire universe once and for all. So, well, Avengers Infinity War is here. Does it live up to the hype, Mr. Allen?
Yes.
It does. I agree. It lives up to the hype. It even somehow exceeds that hype. Very strangely. You wouldn't think that would be possible.
I'm satisfied with, and I don't think it's a spoiler by saying this, with a part 1.
Effectively, yes, because we already know that the next one has been filmed. They were filmed as one thing. So obviously you're going to go into this knowing that there's something still to come, which you can argue will undermine it ever so slightly. But not entirely.
This is completely my point. I'm not frustrated with anything.
No. I feel good. So, plot. We have to be careful about this entire film for spoiler reasons because hashtag Thanos demands your silence.
Yes.
And Disney gave us badges with that on, by the way.
Oh, that's very fun.
Yeah, it was great.
That's good. I've seen a picture floating around. Thanos wants them stones.
He does. So there's the 6 Infinity Stones, which are born of the Big Bang that create the universe. There are 6 concentrated ingots. Each one controls a different element of the universe. So there's the Power Stone, which was from Guardians of the Galaxy, the Space Stone, which is obviously the Tesseract, the Mind Stone from Age of Ultron,
the Reality Stone, which is from Dark World,
Time Stone from Doctor Strange,
yes,
and then there's one we've never seen before as well.
Mysterious Soul Stone.
Yes, the Soul Stone, otherwise known as the Barry White Rock. Anyway. Wouldn't that be great? No one makes that gag.
Would be great.
That would be a great gag, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or the James Brown.
The James Brown Stone.
The Godfather of Soul Stone.
James Brown Stone, and it comes courtesy of Chadwick Boseman.
As James Brown.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? That is not in the film. Don't.
But it might be in the next one.
It might be in the 4th one. We don't know.
He's so damn talented.
He's so cool. Anyway, so he wants to combine the 6 stones because it would give him complete omnipotence and control over the universe to reshape reality as he sees fit. The idea is he is making his way across the universe to Earth, and he is picking these up as he goes. And along the way, a couple of our Marvel heroes are going to encounter after him, and then they are going to have to assemble, for lack of a better term, to take down the Mad Titan. The Mad Titan being played by Josh Brolin, and of course the Marvel cast being played by the entire Marvel cast.
Yeah,
we have a clip of Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner telling Tony Stark what is to come.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos. He's a plague, Tony. He invades planets, he takes what he wants, he wipes out half the population. He sent Loki. The attack on New York, that's him.
This is it. What's our timeline?
No telling. He has the power in space stones. That already makes him the strongest creature in the whole universe. If he gets his hands on all 6 stones, Tony...
He could destroy life on a scale hitherto undreamt of.
Did you seriously just say hitherto undreamt of?
Are you seriously leaning on the cauldron of the cosmos?
Is that what it is? I'm going to allow that.
That was Doctor Strange Cape, obviously whacking Tony Stark. Actually, that clip is pretty indicative of what really works about the film. As always, it's the interactions between the characters, it's the pairings, it's the dynamics, it's the interplay. Stark and Doctor Strange, for instance, that's a lot of fun.
Because it's ego versus ego.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also 2 Sherlocks. When does that happen?
There is a shot where they're just face to face.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
You know, someone's done like an Instagram thing where it's that and then the superimposed with Sherlock.
Totally. Yeah. But yeah, there's character combinations in there that will just amuse the ever-loving hell out of you. There's stuff in this film you honestly never expected to see in a feature film. If you're a comic book fan, there is genuinely stuff from comics lore that you just never thought you'd see in a film. Like, wow, okay,
we've lived this long.
We've lived long enough to see this. Yeah. It is the biggest, most bombastic comic book blockbuster it could possibly be. And to be fair, after Black Panther, yeah, maybe you needed a big blowout because Black Panther had kind of we've done the self-contained superhero blockbuster about as well as it's going to get now. So let's do something else for the next one. And they've gone with, screw it, we're just going to blow everything.
We're going to set it all on fire.
Yeah.
Essentially.
We are burning this house down.
Yeah.
We are burning this house down. We are leaving it all on the table.
David Byrne comes on and he's like, burn our house.
And I love it. And everybody gets a moment to shine. Everyone gets something to do, with a couple of exceptions.
Yeah, are we allowed to talk about exceptions, or will we talk about that in the podcast extras? No, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
Oh no, I don't mean in terms of any kind of spoil. I just mean in terms of their presence in the film. I would argue.
No, same thing.
I would argue that Scarlett Johansson, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, and Don Cheadle, I would argue, get a little bit less to do than anyone else. Really,
I would say that.
Maybe Sebastian.
I would say that Chris Evans does.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, but I can also see why, and I think you will see why as well. And,
I think so.
We've got another one of these things.
I know. So, I mean, Tom Holland being great as well.
Yeah, Tom Holland's great.
Yeah. Really
was good.
Really tight, focused direction on there as well. I thought that was really, really well handled because there's so much going on, and it is an exhausting film. It's 2.5 hours, and there is a lot of content in this. It is borderline exhausting. It works because it's light and fun enough at times to offset how really, really dark and grim it wants to go.
Oh, it's bleak.
And we're not talking about one of those standard superhero movies where, we're going to triumph and then we'll just whack on a sad ending. It's not that basic.
No, I think
it wants to be more subversive.
Yeah, I think just going back to the tone of it as well and how the Russos have been able to kind of corral everything together.
Yeah.
Some of those individual solo, standalone films have got such a, a distinctive look and feel to them. Mm-hmm. So obviously Black Panther, Guardians, and the fact that those can work cohesively in the same film is pretty astounding.
That's really funny you say that because I did the written review yesterday. I'm trying to find the guy's name. Trent Opalock, the cinematographer. He was also the cinematographer on Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Right.
And so, he works with the Russos. He's worked with the Russos before. And obviously it has that very distinct, realistic world look that Winter Soldier and Civil War had. That balanced brilliantly by the time you got to Civil War and the otherworldly elements really started to come in. What he's done here, I actually think is really clever because there are moments where he dangles the multiple colour scheme thing of the Defenders. You remember the Defenders where everyone was just sat at a table under a different colour light bulb?
Yes.
And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like an old Canon Films production. He dangles that in front of you, but then comes up with something wholly unique and makes it sort of alien and otherworldly, but rooted within that real world that he's already created. And I thought that was really good. It really sold me. I absolutely believe that Tony Stark can exist in the same world as Doctor Strange and that Thor can live in the same world as the Black Panther. I absolutely believe that because visually it's absolutely immersive and engaging and coherent and cohesive, and it works.
It does, definitely. And if it was a way that it wasn't going to work.
Because this could have just been crap. Let's be really honest. This could have just been a mess.
The big argument from a lot of people is there is so much going on and they're a victim of their own success. Like, they've had so many successful films and trying to put everything in there. But they have. And I do think that if you've seen all 18... that's the best way to enjoy this.
That's actually my single biggest complaint with it. Is and to be fair, it's a double-edged sword.
It's very self-referential. Yeah,
it has to be so self-referential because it's a finale, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think there's some jokes that work even though they are self-referential. So you don't have to have seen everything else, but you'll get like an added depth to it.
I think so. The one there's one moment that stuck out for me. It was a 60-second long conversation. It was all dialogue, and it was between Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And in the space of 60 seconds, they specifically referenced 7 films. And every single one of those references was punctuated by a gag in 60 seconds. So this is a $300 million superhero movie with 38 or whatever characters, and they will do 7 gags in 60 seconds. It's like a Peter Serafinowicz YouTube video.
Like a Brian Butterfield.
Wasn't one that he did 60 impressions in 30 seconds?
And he's in Guardians as well.
He is.
Which is mad. But actually, just on that point, I guess if you've not seen the other films, just having that little segment, in a way, it kind of catches you up a little bit.
There's a lot. There is a lot of exposition provided, but it does work. It doesn't feel too ham-fisted. There is I think we do get the explanation.
It's still a bit light, isn't it?
A little bit, but we do get the explanation of what the Infinity Stones are twice, which seems a bit weird. But then again,
there's so much going on. Sometimes you might have to be like, oh, that one's the Mind Stone. Or, it helps to just have them labelled or something. Get like a little label maker.
I mean, couldn't we just have had like a Michael Pena recapping at the beginning of the film? I mean,
I'm hoping we get.
So here's the thing, so there was these stones and the Big Bang, and the Big Bang comes out in the world, and it's rad.
And then my cousin Jose,
who knows this guy, who's like the housekeeper for Tony Stark.
Yeah, I hope so much that he gets some kind of tech or suit or.
Do you know if you read between the lines of the Ant-Man trailer, he's clearly got a car chase.
Yeah, he does.
He's clearly got a car. I'm like, I can't wait for Michael Pena as that character doing a car chase.
The new trailer for that's got to be dropping soon. You would imagine.
I believe it is. What's the next Disney? I can't remember the next.
I thought it was going to drop before this.
I thought that, to be honest.
Yeah, because they released a new batch of images and a synopsis for it.
Well, they did try to drop a Venom trailer in the middle of the hype for Infinity War.
Let's talk about that in extras, actually.
Because we need a good laugh.
Worthy of discussion.
That really is. But no, absolutely see this film. It is. Obviously, it takes a whole extra level of enjoyment. It gives you a whole extra level of enjoyment if you know the 18 movies before it. If you don't, go with a friend who's seen them and just they'll explain it all after, and you'll love it.
And frankly, they need the money as well.
Yeah, they do. And hey, Cap has a beard now, so the internet's happy. But yeah, Avengers: Infinity War in cinemas now. Go see it. We loved it. You will too.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back for the final battle. So what for the final battle? Do we want to do Beast?
We'll do Beast, but let me just run through a couple of bits of news just about this CinemaCon.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it a little bit.
There's loads there, didn't they? They actually premiered some Aquaman footage as well, didn't they?
They did.
Well,
he has a fight on a submarine.
Really?
The footage wasn't ready as well, and James Wan is like, it's not done. Warners have made me do this, and he was obviously saying it as a joke, but then also not really joking.
Not really joking. I'm willing to bet they were behind him, like just got an electric cattle prod pressed up against.
They've got James. They've got Aquaman's Triton
stuck in his back.
They showed some Halloween footage.
I heard this in passing, but I'd not heard any specifics.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more excited about this.
I am. This is something I'm really looking forward to.
Oh man, John Carpenter's doing the music for it officially now.
That's official now.
Yeah,
we had a poster last week as Colson and I were talking about it.
Poster looks pretty good.
Is it going by the title Halloween?
By the looks of it.
I think it is going. It's just going to be called Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween.
And Halloween.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Halloween.
Halloween. Right, that sticks. That's it.
That's
We're
it.
done. We're done. We're good.
I mean, Sequelizer as well. That's coming out.
Well, yeah, we had that one last week. Yeah, we had Sequels last week.
Yeah. Apparently, the first they did for Halloween was pretty chilling.
I've just thought of a sequel title that somehow escaped both of us.
For what?
Dead Tool.
Dead Tool.
Dead Tool. Oh my god.
Oh, come on.
Oh wow. Okay, sorry.
Writes itself. The same studio, which I believe is Universal for Halloween.
For Halloween. Do you know? I
think so.
Sure, offhand. Who distributed Halloween? God,
Somebody will tell me wrong, but whichever studio was Halloween.
it winds up being Dimension when it's H2O and H20 and Resurrection. Would Dimension was sort of connected through Miramax, weren't they?
Yeah, but you can't say that word anymore.
No, the M word. Yeah,
The M word.
can't say the M word.
No.
It's actually more acceptable to reference Mussolini than it is
Bit of other M word.
Muammar Gaddafi. He's actually more of an acceptable M word than Miramax these days.
No, they showed some footage of Glass.
Yes, I've not seen this trailer. It's online. Everyone's raving about
is it online?
The trailer's online. Yeah.
Oh, we should.
I had a press release this morning. I was like, oh, I guess sit and watch that later.
That's not coming out until January.
I know.
They've got faith in that film.
They clearly do. It's finished filming now, hasn't
What
it?
else? They showed a trailer for First Man, which is the Damien Chazelle, Neil Armstrong.
With Ryan Gosling, I want to say?
Yeah, apparently the reception was quite muted to it, which is interesting.
Surprised.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, you know what? It's because Glenn Powell's not in it. Yeah, that's what it is.
He would have been a great Buzz Aldrin, but also
if you've not put Glenn Powell in your 60s NASA movie,
then what are you doing?
you're not even trying. You're not even trying, dog.
You just want to make everything hidden figures, don't you?
Everything's just going to be hidden figures by the time I'm done reshaping reality.
Yeah. And then, last real kind of big one. I mean, there was the Venom trailer and there was a bunch of other things as
Yes.
well. But
We'll talk Venom.
Quentin Tarantino and Leonardo DiCaprio turned up.
We know each other.
Yeah. We worked together on that film where he cut his hand open and he won another Oscar. For Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I still think is a terrible title.
Yes, it's a really lazy title.
But I am still looking forward to it. And he said this is the closest thing to Pulp Fiction that I've done since Pulp Fiction.
Oh, fair enough. Has anyone ever done a map of the world and just put a dot in every place that there's a Once Upon a Time in? So like you got a Once Upon a Time in Mexico, a Once Upon a Time in Venice, Once Upon a Time in America, which we'll just put in the heartland.
Yeah.
And like someone should actually sell that like on Etsy. You know, sounds like the kind of thing that would happen, doesn't
That's
it?
one of those box sets with like rubbishy cardboard.
That's TK Maxx box set.
That is a TK
Right
Maxx
there.
box set.
TK Maxx? Matalan box set. Matalan box set, totally. Yeah.
Like the loosely linked. Yeah, like the way back. I was coming up with another one the other day. Love Simon, Love Rosie. I need another love something.
I bet you there is one.
It's got to be.
I don't know if I ever told you this. Did I ever tell you I came up with one? It was Logan, Lucky and Lucky.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was my one. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, so final review of the week.
Yes.
Right, and this one's a good one. Right, Beast.
All right.
Right, have you heard of this at all?
Has he got Kelsey Grammer in it? Is he wearing blue fur?
It does not. It does, however, have Jessie Buckley in it, and I'm trying to remember the actress's name. Hang on a tick. Geraldine James? Oh, Jessie Buckley, sorry, and Johnny Flynn. So Jessie Buckley is Moll. She is, the way she's depicted to us, she's kind of a 20-ish girl living in the West Country. It's a British film, by the way. Living in the West Country, living a sort of, I would say, middle-class suburban life. She, has a sort of, the equivalent of like a Mick job where she gives guided tours on coaches.
Okay.
Like she's the poor girl that's to stand up with the microphone and, explain the countryside. Is it set on Guernsey or Jersey? I cannot remember. One of the two.
Oh, not another film on Guernsey.
I know.
Guernsey Film Board is about to implode.
Whoever their new publicist is, I tell you. Anyway, she meets a young man, Pascal, who's a bit of a rough type. He's played by Johnny Flynn. They begin a bit of a heated affair. It's very much for her, it's a sort of first love thing. So think Fear. Think Reese Witherspoon in Fear, right? But British and raven haired and ginger flame haired and weirdly reminiscent of Hayley Atwell, because I kept thinking she's got to be related to Hayley Atwell. She isn't. It quickly emerges that there is a pattern of missing presumed dead girls on the island, and he has at one point in his life been linked to the case. He at one point was a person of interest, and as their relationship deepens and as it brings out a darker side of her that she never knew existed, the question becomes, is this true? Is this person I love really the monster I'm told he could potentially be? Here's a clip.
Hey, don't walk away from me.
What the f*** do you want from me?
I want you to tell me that you didn't do it. I lied for you. I said we were together that night, and I need to know I did it for the right reason.
Yeah, well, you don't need to lie for me anymore. I'll get through this by myself.
Oh, God, I don't understand you.
How can you ask me that? I love you, and you're asking me that.
Yeah, tense, thrilling, gripping. I loved this. This was so good. And Jessie Buckley, absolutely terrific performance. And Johnny Flynn as well. So the central leads, your two leads, are so brilliantly cast.
I know Johnny Flynn as being a musician more than an actor.
I was trying to work out where I knew him from. What is he a musician in? Is he a solo?
He's just a solo artist.
I didn't know that. I couldn't place him.
Well, I know him as a solo artist, I know.
Do I know him from any films? What films do I know him from?
I know that he's been in some films, but
Mystic of the Mortal.
I can't think.
Song 1? Don't remember. Do you know, I don't know any of these things he's been in.
Oh, he's in that Genius show, the Pablo Picasso.
The Jeffrey Rush thing. Was that Jeffrey Rush?
Lovesick, that is on Netflix, that TV show. That was
okay.
called, it had a really stupid name. Scrotal Weekall.
Good God.
Yeah.
He's got a sort of Charlie Hunnam-ish quality about him. He's like a West Country Charlie Hunnam.
A little bit, yeah.
He's fascinatingly intense here. But then again, so is Jessie Buckley, and that's the term, fascinatingly intense. The story doesn't cop out on you the way you hope it would. It tries to do something more creative. It tries to do something more insightful, more meaningful, with more depth. And it is a genuine success through and through. But a large part of it for me is down to those two core performances. It is written and directed by Michael Pearce. It has a really great sense of location, lots of wide open spaces that somehow still feel quite compressing, quite isolating, quite overpowering. It's genuinely great. I really, really love this film. It's just, minute to one to the end, I was just gripping the armchairs, fascinated by this, and it's those performances. Geraldine James as well, also as Mole's mother. Quite a tokenish, kind of very thinly sketched role, but she plays it in a sort of a very full-bodied, very, very hefty kind of a way that does add just a little bit more to it than it otherwise would have, and it makes it actually work a lot better. Go and see it. It really is very good. I can't recommend it highly enough. I was a big fan. But
yeah, sounds good.
So that's my sycophantic raving about Beast over and done with.
Get it? You like it?
I know. Go figure. So film of the week's Avengers, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the sound of the D minor. They all sounded alright, actually.
To be fair,
not a bad week.
Every film out this week is at the very least very good.
Yeah, it's just for your general going. Yeah, I say, general cinema going public. It's Avengers.
Yeah, you're gonna strap on that film gauntlet, and just remember, no spoilers. Thanos demands your silence. Yeah. So next week we've got the young Karl Marx. We've got Tully next week. Charlize Theron.
Do you know what's really funny? Every time I see the trailer for that, that looks like a horror film.
Kind of does. I thought that as well, actually. When I think she did a horror film, because this can't be what it looks like.
Yeah. I watched it. We were waiting for The Quiet Place to start.
I think I saw it on there as well.
Yeah.
The Strangers Pray at Night next week.
Oh, that's finally happening.
Yeah, that's finally happened, and it didn't go direct to DVD, which is where I assumed it would go.
Yeah.
Did you know Johan Roberts directed this?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Christina
Hendricks is in it.
She is, yeah. I had no idea. I like Johan Roberts. I didn't like 47 Meters Down, but
You might like this.
I might like this. Newtown Utopia, which is a
you told me
documentary.
about
I was
it,
telling you about this. This is about the post-war construction of new towns in Britain. Anime film Mary and the Witch's Flower, which is basically Harry Potter and the anime adaptation. We've got Lean on Pete next week, which is stars Steve Buscemi, actually.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi, Travis Fimmel, and Charlie Plummer. Coming-of-age story involving a horse.
It's not Rob Reiner, that film, is it?
No, I don't think it is. No, it's definitely not Rob Reiner. No. And last but certainly by no means least, Amy Schumer is back. And apparently offending a lot of people with I Feel Pretty. So we'll find that one out for ourselves next week.
I bet that's going to be right. Train wreck.
Well, I hope someone snatches it up from the box.
Did you steal that joke from me? Like she stole all her material?
Oof. Well, if you're going all YouTube 2013 on me. Okay, so we got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been Kenny Stubbridge for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I have been the Deminer.
And we'll be back.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Okay, cut. That's a wrap.
So podcast action is going to be a bit different this week.
Yes.
So
we're gonna talk about that Venom trailer. Nothing else.
Yeah, the Venom trailer sucked, by the way. If there's no Spider-Man, why does he still look like evil Spider-Man? It doesn't make any sense. If it's an origin story and Spider-Man's not involved, he wouldn't look like Spider-Man. He wouldn't obey the physical... Never mind. Oh, also, it's symbiote, not symbiote.
Symbiote.
Yeah.
The internet kind of melted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the next few minutes, we're going into spoiler territory. But if you've seen Avengers: Infinity War, by all means, keep listening. If you've not seen Avengers: Infinity War,
go to the cinema right now.
Go to the cinema right now, see it, and then you can resume this podcast from this point. We're joined by Chris Dyer.
Hello.
But just because he just happened to be around. So.
Yeah, around.
Chris is my friend. Not to brag, I have at least one friend.
You've got at least one?
At least one, yeah. For now.
I have a friend.
Me and Van, famously not friends.
No, we're workplace proximity associates.
Yeah, we are acquaintances at best.
You said I was special. Okay, so Infinity War. This is it's so big and there's so much to unpack, and it's so difficult to review without talking about spoilers.
Exactly, yeah.
It's been literally. I've spoken to lots of people as they've been writing their reviews this week, and a lot of them have having a hard time because, we can't even talk about how great a performance this person gave because then it kind of indicates where that goes. So now that we can talk about spoilers,
who gave a great performance?
Yeah, in that case, instead of Zoe Saldana, that's a big chunky part to have, but you can't really talk about it in a regular spoiler-free review because of what it involves.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion from her.
Yeah,
from that, a lot.
Very different side of that character as well. You got to see a very distinct side. I really loved how, because it had been 4 years for the Guardians, time-wise, that, they had really evolved as a sort of family unit.
I didn't even think about that, really.
Yeah, because it's at least 2015 the last time we saw the Guardians chronologically.
Chronologically, it is, yeah.
So, for instance, Quill and Gamora being actually seemingly, not really a couple, but what is it, long-term booty call, I think he said.
Yeah, so they'll make out and stuff, and that bit with Drax, when he's just, he's eating those crisps or whatever they are.
Mantis seems to be part of the actual team. Rocket seems to now be kind of a sort of irascible uncle kind of a figure.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
And Groot is just the kid.
Groot is the family's child. So it seems to be this sort of weird blended family unit.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I thought, okay, we've gotten to here from the ending of Guardians 2. It's very logical. It makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
And much like a family, it gets to the point where you stop listening to the dad when you're growing up and whatnot. So it was nice seeing how...
When the cool cousin comes in, when Thor comes in.
Yeah, exactly that, in fact. It's basically Sean William Scott's character in It's Always Sunny.
Was he?
Cool Mac.
Country Mac.
Yeah, basically Country Mac. So Thor is Country Mac, which is probably the weirdest analogy you could draw for Thor.
Going into it, I didn't even think about their interplay. I was thinking about Doctor Strange and Tony Stark, and I was thinking about Quill and Tony Stark, but I wasn't thinking about Thor and Quill.
And it's a really great dynamic.
Yeah.
There's a couple little ones in there that I really... there's... It's a self-referential gag, but I do love the Anthony Mackie saying, "Well, this has gotten awkward." When they reunite Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson, which weirdly never seems to really come up again.
Not in this one.
Which is annoying. I hope that's something that gets chucked in the fourth one.
Do we actually see Bruce and hanging out after that one scene?
I don't think we actually do. I don't think they cross paths.
You know, there's so much on like the cut room floor. Like Villa thought about, Villa filmed it.
Oh yeah,
it just wouldn't have worked, I guess.
But the return to Wakanda, I thought. I mean, in the screening I was in on Tuesday night, they went all in on press shows for this. Right on Tuesday night, they had the IMAX in Leicester Square. They had the super screen next door, and in the building, 2 buildings down, they had View as well. And the lines actually genuinely filled Leicester Square. When it got to Black Panther, with the reintroduction of Black Panther characters, rounds of applause and cheering and whoops.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
It was the music that did it.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard it.
That Black Panther music is incredible.
Oh, it was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah. With like horns and...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And also, nice to see M'Baku back as well.
M'Baku!
Oh God! And it's weird. You do see that moment when they reintroduce Black Panther characters, and you do think, "Wow, we all as a society now really love Black Panther more than we thought we ever would."
Yeah, how crazy that!
I just realised something.
Go on.
Why didn't they bring the rhinos back? They could have done some damage.
Actually, yeah,
they could have really.
Yeah.
Actually,
Daniel Kaluuya is not in it.
He's not. No, he's not at all, is he?
No, is Lupita Nyong'o, but obviously at the end of Black Panther, because he's had to side with Killmonger.
Yeah,
he's in the doghouse.
Do you think it's
cat house,
Rhino house?
By the way, we can pretty much give Black Panther spoilers because I think the home release is next week in the US.
That's funny. I saw it at the cinema last week. You saw it at the cinema last week as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's a digital exclusive next week.
Second time around.
It's about 10 days' time. It's a digital exclusive, and then a week after that is DVD and Blu-ray. So
gotta get on.
I'm buying that day one.
Yeah,
but
you know there's going to be so many behind the scenes featurettes and.
Oh yeah. I mean, how much has Kendrick got? That's what I want to
know. We got the Ragnarok Blu-ray last week, and the gag reel for that is brilliant.
Yes, it wound up on YouTube. I sat and watched it all.
Yeah, it's very funny. There's like an 8-bit version of some like the key scenes as well. Yeah,
I'd heard that, but I've not seen it. Yeah. But no, I came away from this from Infinity War just thinking, yeah, basically the entire third act of this is incredibly brave.
Well, you say that the entire film was a third act. It was 3 third acts.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Do you know what? Fair. I'll go with that.
It was full on. From the get.
Not much setup, really, is there?
No.
It's kind of hey, I'm out jogging. Oh, by the way, the world's ending. Yeah, literally.
Deal with
that. Speaking of Black Panther, the one thing I really loved is that they sort of retroactively inserted this continuity that following the end of Black Panther, evidently, like Tony Stark's just been playing around with Wakandan technology.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Well, how long after Civil War is this meant to be?
I think he says it's 2 years.
He says he's not spoke to Cap for 2 years.
2 years, which means there's been Wakanda's been around to the world for roughly 2 years then, because that's straight after Civil War.
So it's long enough for Stark to mess around with nanotech, not long enough to bring a Starbucks to Wakanda.
No, I know. Who'd have thought that?
We've not gentrified it just yet.
And we're just putting it out there. Wakanda, presumably, being the nation that it is and having the economic structure that it is, doesn't have a tax system. And it's Starbucks. They should have leapt on that. I mean, I'm surprised Starbucks didn't move head office to Wakanda.
Or Google.
That's it. Yeah, Wakanda opens to the world. The next day, Google, Starbucks, Apple, and Bono move into it.
The only man that listens to is you two.
Yeah. Jimmy Carr has accounts in Wakanda now.
Headline in the comedy clubs.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. All the companies leaving the UAE have gone to Wakanda because they'll have that 5% tax in Wakanda. 1% vibranium fee. That's what it is. But. Yeah, I liked that idea because there was that lived-in sensibility that you felt like, oh yeah, because Wakanda just feels like it's part of the world now. I like that. Okay, cool. That's why you're not terribly surprised when they can suddenly whip out Black Panther tech.
Yeah,
like people will just have it. Yeah.
So does that mean then? Do you think he can just make nano arc reactors? Because that's awesome.
Oh man,
detachable. Yeah. Well, I quite like.
Well, we thought this would be like the bleeding edge.
Yeah, it basically is, isn't it?
Yeah.
They found a way to make it fit their continuity.
Yeah.
I did like the revised Thanos origin story. They've changed his origin for the screen, and it's a good origin story, and it works really well, and weirdly makes kind of a weird point. But
Well, this is one of the reasons why he works so well. It's the reason why Vulture works so well. It's why Killmonger works so well. You can see his motives. You can empathise with him. And
It made his Mad Titan name a bit more
kind of misunderstood, really.
Yeah, because I just thought
Logical Titan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, rational survivalist Titan. There we go. Rational economist Titan. That's what we'll go with. But he's so good, though. Josh Brolin's so good as Thanos. Like, that character should have sucked. And all the build-up for him has always been anticlimactic.
It could have been like Ultron.
Kind of, yeah.
That could have gone wrong.
But like whenever they've set up Thanos in previous films, there's always been this sense that they feel like they're really, promising us, they're filling us with dread and doom. You're like, you're really not. This just feels like you're just setting up an anticlimactic CGI purple villain 4 movies down the line.
Yeah.
And yeah, they actually delivered the goods when it counts. So fair play.
And at the end, he gets what he wants.
Exactly, yeah. Which is kind of really the only way to end this.
There is, yeah, and it's not obvious to how they're going to sort it out. We've all got theories about it, obviously, but like there's no just obvious. Oh, this is what they do.
I think I've got a theory. I think it's clearly something Doctor Strange has set something up. I feel like amongst all his trickery, I think he's sent something into the past or something, and because he says there was no other way.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. It seems like such a stupid move, just for the sake of storytelling, to just hand over a stone for the life of one person. Yeah, there needs to be something in the long run.
Especially when that guy, I mean, Strange doesn't know what's in the Iron Man suit. So as far as he's concerned, Stark would be dead 2 minutes later anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But, unless he was going to magic up some stitches or something, I don't know. Also, by the way, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the Wizards is one of my favourite lines in a movie this year. That's fantastic. Yeah. Also, this is not a dude, you're a dude. This is a man.
Very muscular man.
Oh, was he a pirate angel?
It's like a pirate had a baby with an angel. But I love
when muscles.
Please stop.
When Stallon's trying to talk like him as well.
Not today, sir.
Is he mocking me?
He's copying me. I loved it. I loved, the interplay between Thor and Rocket. I thought was quite fun.
Yeah, I love that.
There's a weird gag in there as well, by the way, that Peter Dinklage is playing against type. For once, he's the tallest man in the room.
He's playing a giant dwarf.
He's playing a giant for a change. So he's but
we still call him a dwarf.
They do, don't they?
Well, I'm sure to some people he is, like me.
To Galactus he would be.
Yeah.
Get that deal signed.
Get that deal signed. Come on, 2021. That'll be about the time period we get a Fantastic Four movie. But...
I think that'll be about the time when John Krasinski will really start to get that grey in his temples.
Yeah, funny that. It'll be funny,
he'll be
good timing.
He'll be ready to be Reed Richards, and I want him to direct the Fantastic Four film.
I wouldn't put it past him because Quiet Place is seemingly turning into his own personal Get Out,
and it's all about family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about family than Vin Diesel is about family.
Yeah, because John Krasinski doesn't waste time with the extra B. So
he doesn't say family.
Yeah, he doesn't say family. So because he doesn't have to include the letter B, that saves him like a tenth of a second.
I ain't got motherfucker.
That racks up.
I got family.
Racks up. You add a tenth of a second, you have many of those tenths of seconds.
If you collect all the Bs,
you can power the Infinity B. So that's how it works. Complete.
Have you just given out the title for Avengers 4?
I don't know what the title. I couldn't speculate because the idea was to tell you the title of Avengers 4 would spoil Infinity War for you. Yeah. I still can't speculate what it might be.
Well, didn't Zoe Saldana... Sorry.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, well, I've not slept much. I only saw it last night. Wasn't she reported or said in an interview or something?
A while ago.
She dropped... Was it... Infinity War and Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yes, she did, yes.
A3 and A4.
Yeah. But the writers have now said that it will not be Infinity Gauntlet, and they said that will be a terrible title.
It would be, considering what we've seen now, and I don't know how it would be a spoiler, because we know it was coming.
So. I mean, Born Again is... Born Again, I think, would be quite good. Borrow a Daredevil title.
Disassembled, people are saying.
Something like, Avengers Reassembled.
Reassembled.
Oh, that would be good. Avengers Reassembled would work.
Yeah. Electric Boogaloo.
It's kind of disappointing we didn't hear Cap say, Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, you would think this would be the one, wouldn't it?
Films, it would be this one.
But like you said, actually, in the actual review, like it's surprising how downplayed he is in this.
Yeah, which makes me think that he definitely going to die.
I love the relationship between Wanda and Vision, by the way, now.
Yeah, that worked so
That really worked. Like, you never cared about those characters particularly.
Really.
Even in Civil War, where they had more to do, you're still like, great, can we get back to stuff now?
Yeah.
In Infinity War, you do actually enjoy it. But, okay, so we've rambled long enough, so we need to bring this to a close. So there's your spoiler chat on Infinity War. We all loved it. And
Most definitely.
Yeah.
It's a 4.5 out of 5 to me.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
You give it an 8 out of 10?
8 out of 10 gauntlets.
You've got to change the scale, haven't you, when it's your turn, Chris?
I'd give it high numbers.
High numbers.
Or a big letter.
I'd give it
a massive
big
A.
percentage.
I'd give it an A- purely for being as self-referential as it is.
An Avengers minus.
An Avengers minus.
Yeah. Minus half.
And that
is that the title? That's the title.
But you know for a fact the first Avengers movie that gets made after number 4 is going to be called The New Avengers. That's totally
will
going to
be. Yeah.
It's clearly going to be.
And then we'll have West Coast Avengers, and it'll all carry on until we.
How is that not a TV show?
I want to see more of the Revengers.
That's for Hawkeye.
Yeah, the Revengers. That would work.
More of that would work.
That should be the spin-off starring.
Avengers.
That should be the spin-off that Valkyrie and Black Widow go and do.
Because I'm not accepting that Valkyrie's dead.
No, I'm not at all. By the way, what happened? Did Korg and Meek and Valkyrie get in the escape pods with apparently half the Asgardians?
Went to Meek's planet.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Tell you, there's a one-shot on this.
Korg's going to destroy everyone.
Well, Korg's out there printing leaflets up. So pamphlets.
What?
He's doing pamphlets. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's going to drown himself in paper. he did. He did.
Well, yeah, rock beats paper.
But yeah, that's totally it. Totally it.
Wait, what?
But rock, paper, scissors, human fever.
Rock beats paper? What games were you playing? Fool.
On which note,
We've not slept in 3 hours.
we're going to draw this to a close. Here it is, your moment of Cage.
Why you?
Ghost Rider.